appear, the government have a platform of one government, one communication, one message, one goal, and the only platform that will be used by government auxiliary is the Child Beyond Press Hall and the MICAT press conference. At this juncture, I'd like to invite the Chief Administrator, the official spokesperson of the government, Honorable Jeremy Matthew Pierre, who will explain government programs and policy, after which he will officially introduce to you our guest for today's press briefing, Minister Pierre.
Good afternoon to all of you and welcome to our regular press briefing for this week, the first one. There will be another one on Thursday. So we want to clear a few issues before the Liberia Immigration Service boss can take a stand. I hope all of you are comfortable in here. For me, it's getting too cold for me. I need a place to be a little bit warm there. I don't know whether you won't feel so. If you don't, we can bring 2 more of the air conditioner if you want that. But anyway, like I said the other day, we'll bring more, but it will be after we have refurbished the entire building. Like I announced, we are about to cease operations in here and do a major renovation of the entire building, on the roof, the floor, to make the place to look like where people are supposed to come and get government information. And we're glad that we're on course with that in just a few months of the team's stewardship here at the ministry. The president led a delegation to Ghana over the weekend. I was fortunate to be a part of the delegation. And for those of you who may not be aware, in Ghana, there is what we call the Regional Maritime University, dedicated to training people in all of the maritime-related sciences from the different countries in Africa. That university is co-owned by Liberia, Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Cameroon. The running of the university is the responsibility of the countries I just named. So it's an institution that belongs to Liberia as well. And they chose the president to address the commencement convocation. Of interest is the fact that amongst all of the graduates, there was a single Liberian, very young lady, I guess in her early 20, maybe 21, 22, who earned a master's degree in environmental engineering. Very young lady. So the team, the entire Liberian delegation was very proud of the young lady. She was brought to where the president was residing. She met with the president. They had good discussion as to what her role would be when she returns home, since she has completed. And there is a commitment on the part of the government to ensure that we have more Liberians enrolled at the university, because we should be more focused on providing skills, providing education for our young people so that they are prepared for tomorrow's leadership. So in the coming years, in the coming semester, the government will make targeted efforts to ensure that we have more enrollments of Nigerians at the Regional Maritime University, which is situated in Accra. While in Ghana, we've been doing repatriation, and the president was very eager to drive down to Liberia to see what was happening there. But based upon advice from the Ghanaian security, we couldn't go, but what we were able to do was to invite the leadership of the Liberians in Liberia to come and meet with the president. They had very fruitful discussions and briefed the president about the current state of affairs in Ghana, some of the issues that they are currently faced with. And so the government, the president, now got a clearer picture as to what the situation is with our citizens out there, and the things we are supposed to do in their interest will be done. To note also is the fact that there are Liberians who are students beyond the Regional Maritime University who are students in Ghana. Those students were able to meet with the president. They were granted audience by the president. Even though he went purposely for the graduation, but the president was keen on just being engaged with his people from different places. So the students also met with the president. They briefed the president about their schooling in Ghana, some of the challenges they faced with. Key among them was the fact that the program did not include stipends. They were giving their tuition and accommodation. So they informed the president that they have some challenges. Of course, the president was able to reach out to them in some small ways, but we holistically look at the challenges they face with and see how we can address them as the government. We have a huge problem in our country. If you consider the data on unemployment is very huge. Not just in Liberia, but in developing countries, how to find jobs for people is a big problem. But it appears that even as we have this kind of challenge, some of our people are choosing a path that will even make the job situation in our country harder, more difficult. Because some of the investors or concessionaires that are here trying to provide jobs are in some ways being terribly harassed. And the government is concerned, very concerned about this new trend that is unfolding in the country. Yes, we understand that in workplaces there could be challenges. Even here at the Ministry of Information, everybody who working here may not be okay. Maybe they got some issues, they got some concerns. How do they address those concerns? Wake up in the morning, put the Ministry of Information, rather being that is already in such a state, you put it on fire? Or you get engaged with the leadership here at the ministry and see how you find solutions to the problems. Okay, to Nimba, to Maggie, just name it. People are comfortable to take the laws into their own hands. So last Thursday, some employee of the Zargo Corporation who got some issues coming to them took the law into their own hands, vandalized the facilities of the company, in some other ways attempted to take away lives. There was a targeted attack on the production manager of the company. His home was moved on. The vehicle seated in the parking lot within the home was set ablaze. And that fire extended to the building and burned it down to the ground. He had to be smuggled out. The company's warehouses were looted. Rice and other valuables taken away. And before the security forces could intervene to restore some calm, much damage has been done. Over 13 persons have been arrested and investigated. But some of the ringleaders are still alive. We're looking for them because the government is committed to ensuring that those who caused that extent of destruction account for the action. And those who are already arrested, they've been investigated, they will be charged accordingly, and they all will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We cannot tolerate such level of violence among our people. We can't be behaving like animals. You got a human being in a house. If you don't care, you're prepared to set the house ablaze. It doesn't matter if anybody in there dies. This new set of activity that we see is un-Liberian. Liberians are calm people. We are not such a violent group of people as we seem, especially during normal times. The company has announced that they will shut down. So yesterday, the government sent a team to Satellite, headed by the Minister of Justice and the Minister of Agriculture, because Satellite is an agricultural company, the Acting Inspector General of Police, because his men are deployed there as we speak, and I joined there as the Minister of Information, and we wanted to have a clear picture of what has happened. So we were able to review the damaged infrastructures. We moved to the camps. They got some 9 camps. We couldn't go to all. We visited 2 of the strategic ones. We talked to those who are living there, got their own accounts of what happened. On our way back, we stopped at a police station in Kakata and met those who are detained. We also met their union leaders, the chairperson or president and the Secretary General. They gave us their own account of what took place because they are answering some questions having been invited by the police. But here is it. You see you've got some issues. You instigated a violent protest. The company said we shut it down. So our question to them was 800 persons are employed here. What is the problem you wanted to solve? When the company closed down the operation, how does it benefit you? The 800 jobs gone. The schools being operated closed. The medical facility they're running closed. Of course, sooner or later they will ask you to leave those places that you live in, the homes you live in, because they are company property. You're there because you're working for them. So what have you done? Have you found any solution? Why are we looking for a job for our citizens? You're taking away 800 jobs in the name of looking for some redress or something. Importantly, they have sat with the management, and this account is given by their own union worker, who is also an employee of the company, and therefore they can't be lying. You start with the company, you have 13 counts. They chose to address 6 immediately, and that the other ones will be looked at. Meanwhile, prior to that, they have been on strike for 5 days. And they were making demands before going back to work to say, look, the 5 days we didn't work for, pay us for it. Company said, we can't pay you for the days you didn't work for. It is only on account of the company now agreeing to pay them for the 5 days that they went on the rampage, running down places, looting warehouses and all of that. how can we run a country like this? Talking about tourism. Gambia, a small country, no resources. Those who go there will tell you straight about Gambia. I'll land that place, get most of what they need from Senegal. The major destination for tourists. And that country's budget is funded basically through tourism. That the tourists are going there because the place is peaceful. Tourists will not come here when you're burning down homes. When every little thing that happens, we are all in the street destroying things. Tourists will not come here. So merely separating tourism and culture from MICAT and creating an entity by itself will not lead to any boom in tourism. It starts with us, our behavior, our mindset, the things we do, the barbaric things that we do, how fearless we are in even taking away lives. Something not going to attract anybody who wants to do business here. If an investor, we went to Korea and we engaged a lot of companies. The Korean government is about to pump 14 billion into Korean companies to invest in Africa. We signed MOU with 7. Maybe when the 7 of them read the things that are happening here on the news, they will change their mind. Why would they bring their businesses here when all we know how to do is to destroy the very businesses, even though they employ us? The government will not countenance any investor coming to our country and treating our people bad. So there must be some responsible and peaceful ways of engaging them when we have issues. Not these acts of violence and hooliganism that we see getting so popular amongst our people. And that is the reason why we use this particular case to set an example. We'll be very decisive. And those responsible for what happened in Salama will account for their action. Everything in this country is politics. And the politics will take us back and back and back and back. 250 souls died in this country due to some crazy war. Maybe the reason why some people are still brave and they can be attacking people at companies and concession areas because maybe they believe nobody is ever accountable for anything in this country. Many years after the end of the war, President Walker decided to take a step forward, acting in concert with the global community. We hope we're accountable. There are steps, many steps to go in finalizing this war crime story. And one of the things the president did when he issued Executive Order number 131 is to establish an office for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. That office is not the War Crime Court. So Councilor Jonathan Mazakwe is not heading a court. He is heading an office, or he should be heading an office when finalized, that will do all the work required to establish the War Crime Court. And the people who will find themselves running the court will not include Jonathan Mazakwe, at least for now. But the normal agitation has started. The criticisms. And some people even want the president to share his power, his authority, to take this decision with them. Of course, they will not tell you that he's breached any law in taking the actions he took. But he's supposed to do it. He's supposed to consult with the body. He's supposed to consult with other people. He's supposed to consult them. Rather than being focused on the work they have to do to eventually establish the code. Back to politics. Yes, we know some people have made predictions, sitting on some talk show in place and say, our war crime code thing, that Sharia is not going to happen, no matter what I think they're doing. So who knows? Maybe some of these people, they are so keen in having their prediction come to pass than executing and implementing something that is good for the country. On behalf of the government, I want to assure them that there will be no turnaround. These processes that will be backed upon will be followed to the letter, and eventually the War and Economic Crimes Court will be established, and people will have to account for the roles played during our brutal civil war. So let's focus on that, because the distractions will not work. They will not reverse the process, and the process will be logically concluded. We want to give some official recognition because at the Ministry of Information we believe it's important. Recently, the 23rd African Athletics Championship took place in Cameroon, and Liberia was present. We've informed that they won 5 medals on the guardians of Coach Seyon Kubo, and we just wanted to congratulate the medalists who represented our country well. I want to say the government is exceedingly proud of them. We want to thank them for lifting our flag in Cameroon, and they include Joseph Famule, who won gold in both the men's 100 and 200 meter events. Everett Morrison, who secured gold in the women's 100 meter stuff. Nia McCall earned the silver medal in the women's 100 meter. We just want to congratulate all of them. The full team that was there include Emmanuel Matali, Joseph Famule, Jonas Shemon, Jabez Reeves, Akin Sharif, Everett Morrison, Destiny Smith, Barnett Telmon Davis. We want to thank all of them for ably representing our country. We're proud of them, and we thank them as a government. We want to pay some tribute to a fallen colleague of your profession, journalist Cholo Brooks. I have known Cholo for years. He was a rare representation of what ethical journalism represents. He was a professional by the dictates of the media profession. We have interacted based on our work period for a long time in the media landscape space, and we know journalists one by one, by their names, by their everything. And if you try to categorize journalists for who they were, Cholo will always be on the end of journalists you'll be proud of. We learn of his sad passing. On behalf of the Ministry of Information, we want to say our deepest sympathy to the family of Cholo, to the Press Union of Liberia, and to all of you who are journalists practicing in Liberia. We will stand with Cholo's family in ensuring that he's given a burial that is befitting of a serious-minded and professional journalist. And finally, Liberia has not had a history of having past leaders around, especially from the presidential level. We had the first when President Selig left office, and then the second when President Weah left office. We want to develop a culture of having respect for our former leaders, particularly former president, former vice president, all of that. At the same time, we expect that the leaders themselves, the past leaders, will conduct themselves in ways that will earn those respects. When you are a leader, you are supposed to be some kind of role model to be followed. You should make your voice to be a voice of solution. You cannot and must not jump down to the same normal style of politics that the career politicians will be involved with. Because if you don't separate the ball, then it will be difficult to draw the line between you as a former president and you as a politician. I'm told his party celebrated something they call Militant Day. And he spoke on the local media to give approbation to the formalization of the acts of militancy, which is good, that's what he wanted. But we heard him also try to question the change that was brought here. And in his normal sarcastic way of addressing leaders, he believes President MICAT does not represent the change. President MICAT does not know what is happening around him. He's sleeping. He's a former president. Maybe you were not sleeping. You were very awake. How come you didn't know all the things that were happening around you? I doubt whether you even understand this country, even though you led it for 6 years. I doubt whether you even knew what was happening around you, or whether you know what's happening now. We listen to you, see the lack of understanding of what it means to run a country. So no wonder why it's true that you were not sleeping according to you. The country sank to where it was. At no time in the history of this country that leaders of our country could just be sanctioned left and right by our most respectable partner in the United States. You were not sleeping, you were awake. This place became a dumping site for cooch and other harmful substances. You were not sleeping. Corruption reached the Senate under your leadership. You were firmly awake and not sleeping. Auditors were being murdered in cold blood, and the government could not act. Your eyes were wide open. Our civil servants who were already underpaid were reduced to beggars, and we harmonized their salaries. You were not sleeping, but every government institution we inherited, including where I stay, the Ministry of Information, looks like a dump site. With your eyes wide open, put our country almost on the verge of being a failed state. Yes, Mr. Former President, you said this is not a change we wanted. But how could we not be? When you came with your change, in 6 months, you built 47 condominiums. 6 months. On your change. President MICAT almost at 6 months, he's not built one. He said the president is appointing people based on nepotism. The former chairman told us how you appointed people. For respect, I will not repeat those words. I guess the public is aware as to what the measures were for you to appoint people. Less than 1 year, your dilapidated Ninth Street residence was transformed into a mansion. build one kitchen. You see, as a president, our orientation is different. We want to respect you. We want to respect all our former leaders. Don't push us. Mounting this podium all the time on behalf of the government, I've been very careful how I address issues. Because that is the way we change the country. Doing so is not an act of being lazy. When you want to be dirty, we can do it better than you. And keep our governance process civil. Sometimes you don't understand the space that you're in. It's better to be quiet. Yes, Mr. President, I know you're trying to find your voice because it's not there. And you're so predictable. You will not engage in national discourse on serious issues. There will always be pettiness. You've created a big problem here that we are committed to fix. We can judge you today because you have 6 years, and the 6 year ended. So we can judge you by your output. Since 6 years they gave you, I think you're the President Walker. He's been here for 5 months. You want to judge 5 months to be equal to your 6 months? In 5 months, President Walker is bringing in 285 pieces of yellow machines that will make our roads possible. Clear farmland for our people. That's probably not something that the people will feel, the country will feel. The roads will be accessible. In 5 months, the road you abandoned right here on RIA Road. Just go there even as it's raining. The work has been progressing since Walker took over. It took 4 years to build that one road. In months. Go and see the progress. You're questioning the change. I wouldn't want to go too much, because doing so will mean saying some things that could really hurt. And I want to keep it that way. Not to hurt our former president, but I just want to caution you as I end. Be mindful of the things he said. Former president. Because former presidents are not ordinary people. And they should not speak ordinarily. President Walker is the change. He's living the change. He declared his assets in weeks. It took you years to declare yours. He has published his assets. You never ever publish yours up to now. How can you compare the both? It's like attempting to compare light to darkness. That should be a very difficult thing. Having said that, thank you. Mr. Commissioner General, it is now my pleasure to invite you to address your people.
Mr. Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, thank you for inviting me to the podium at the Child William Conference Hall. I bring you greetings from the Liberian Regional Service, all of us in here and those in the land. I've been asked to talk to you on the MIS since we took over from March up to now. March, April, May, June, 4 months, July. The Liberian Immigration Service is that statutory agency of government that is charged with the responsibility of providing security for our land, air, and sea. Liberia Immigration Service is multi-task. In addition to providing security coverage of land, air, and sea, 143,000 square miles. Our airspace in the Atlantic Ocean, several nautical distance is the capacity. We also a revenue generating entity. The last revenue year we were taxed to raise $4 million. We raised a little more than that. Today, we are pleased to share a note with you on this. Before I proceed, I want to inform you on behalf of my Special Deputy Dixon Tamba, who is the Deputy Commissioner General for Naturalization. And you see Bishop and Brown with me. And then Dr. Somi is the training director of our training academy. Zargo is our director for the immigration support unit. When we took over the LIS, the first thing we sought to do was to conduct an audit, a system audit, to ensure where we are, where we started from. And that audit revealed that we had inadequate manpower. That audit revealed we have logistical challenge. That audit revealed we have poor infrastructure. The audit revealed that we have some 50 ghost names on our payroll who have been paid, but not working, but not visible. So growing out of that, and the audit was conducted by the IAE and the Liberia Immigration Service. When the audit result came to us, we sat down drawing board as Commissioner Generals and Principal Deputies. We also came to realize that the UNDP had also, 2 years before we got in, conducted a test for immigration personnel working along with the LIMPA, the Institute for Public Accounting. They conducted a test, and the test result could not be made public. And we took over. We showed the results were placed, and those results inform the way from the money which we make assignment, transfer, and reassign and position men and women in their lives. Realizing that we have inadequate manpower, and let me take you back, the LIS are one of those security architecture. Unlike the Liberia National Police, unlike the military, that went through reform. The LIS didn't go through the necessary architectural reform. So, the LIS developed a working plan, and we were sourcing funds courtesy of our training department. The UNDP came to our aid and started to conduct in-service specialized and general recruit training. The last phase of which we had recently in Banga, at the Banga Regional Security Hub. We graduated 183 out of 185, 2 fell by the wayside. Do the math, that was a compacted 2 weeks, 24 hours, 20 hours a day training. So if you multiply 20 hours per 14 days, you talk about 280 plus hours. Divide that by the number 8 days, you talk about 35 days. Do the math. It was compacted back to back. And we're interested to note that the training, we had the best mind providing the necessary training. Courtesy too of one of Mr. Minister of Information, one of your Deputy Minister, avail her services. Honorable Kadiatu D. Kente, she here. Thank you, Madam Minister. Mr. Minister, she availed her services to treat on tourism. The engagement of LIS officer as we enhance tourism, all of this are talking about tourism, how we trying to bring a dark side to tourism. We're talking about to enhance it. Madam Minister took our time, she drove from here to Banga, the regional hub, spent hours. Like how the armed forces in Liberia sent one Williams, who took hours providing training to our guys. The DEA, the fire service, all of those within the security architecture and building services. We want to use this podium to thank the minister and all of those who went there to provide training. Like I said, with back-to-back combatant. Growing out of such training, we appreciated the United Nations Development Partner, UNDP, for the opportunity. Because Liberia is in the West African space, that was of some 400 million people, we invited the Sierra Leonean Commissioner General, what they call him Chief Immigration Officer, Honorable MP Alusi Kanen, to serve as our keynote speaker to such program. He spoke to all primarily on the Equal National Biometric Card, the Equal Brown Card. On that concept, the 400 million people in West Africa should enjoy free movement. And this Equal Biometric National Card should be used by all of us to visit any of the 15 countries in West Africa. His invitation was a milestone achievement. It brought into play that camaraderie, that sister relationship between two Mana River, Makona River countries, Liberia and Sierra Leone. That training produced 183 officers. It is our hope that within this revenue year, we'll be able to, now that our RAA revealed to us inadequate manpower, we intend to train between 300 and 500 LIS officers to be able to deploy at our borders, both land, air, and sea. We call on national government, now that the UNDP have played our part, to be able to set aside the minimum amount so we are to train additional 300, 500 LIS officers to be able to meet our benchmark. When our counterpart exiting Liberia on you, it's a benchmark for security institutions. The AFL, I speak to it because I checked the Committee on Defense when I was senator, was said to have been projected to have a manpower strength of about 5 to 6 thousand men and women. The Liberia National Police produces 8,000 plus men and women. Based on our population and the mathematics were done and the projection we made. Unfortunately though, we have not met the benchmark. The allies on our own, it's fucking hard to meet the benchmark. After recruiting, after training 183, 85, then 2 February, 183, we're hoping in the next time to do between 300 and 500. And actually we hope to be conducted in FOIA, where we have our specialized LIS Academy. When the RAA conducted their assessment of LIS before going to motion, we came to realize that the LIS, like many other security institutions, or unlike other security institutions, our men were inadequately paid, which in our mind is a violation of the Decent Work Act. The Decent Work Act called for to commensurate our work with what to do. So on our own evolution, we were able to procure a bus to be able to convey allies officers from not necessarily their homes, but from a noticeable junction, so that when boss is flying, he picks you up and takes you to allies. That in our mind enhanced the spirit and rejuvenated their eyes. So we developed as our team allies, spirited, rejuvenated, to enhance esprit de corps. And esprit de corps in law enforcement parlance is that way in which we conduct ourselves to be our brother keeper. The way I mind your back, the way you mind my back, esprit de corps. Today we see the allies, the men are motivated, the men are rejuvenated, the men are spirited, the men are enhanced. Today you can see the allies officer. For those of you who were privileged to have attended our graduation, from head to toe, brand new. From head to toe, brand new. We did that out of innovation. We didn't just complain. We took the task knowing where we were going to. Today I'll speak to you at the Zargo International Airport, our biggest gateway. On that freeport, the Zargo fee. You have what you call the Migration Information Data Analysis System, MADAS. That Migration Information Data Analysis System is what captures you when you visit land space to determine who you are, where you come from, your age, and background check. Within an environment where criminality is fluid, and to nip criminality, because it's fluid, you need all your gadgets. Around the Migration Information Data Analysis System is not at its best, it's obsolete. I was an instrument given to the eyes by the IOM, of International Organization of Migration. It is our humble appeal that government look into that, so that we deploy it, we get a new one, since it's been almost 8 to 9 years now, to be able to capture those who will come within our territory. The bad guys will look for the weaker link. So in criminal justice parlance, you have what we call target harding. If you make a target soft like a piece of cake, anyone can eat it, eh? When you make a target hard, it becomes difficult for anyone to penetrate. The IAA assessment of error show insufficiency or no logistics. Uniform was a challenge. Assessor released to talk about mobility. Contemporary technical gadgets and security architecture in the world. We were challenged. Salary low, morale low. But over the past 4 months, I can speak to this that AI is spirited. Thanks to not just I alone as a person, but to me and my principal deputies, who working together, we made the allies where it is today. We've also been asked to talk to you on what's taking place. As a result of the UNDP sponsored test that we conducted 2 years ago, that which we published, all of those assignments we made on the allies is being informed by those who pass the test, the ranking, the transfer. The only challenge you got in there is that by now, the allies ranking system should have been customized and harmonized and to commensurate with payment. So those who have worked over the years, who have academic background, they knew how the ranking system and payment commensurate with the ranking system. Attempts have been made by all to ensure that happens. How far the ally is as we speak. During our graduation ceremony, the Senator of Bon County and Chairman of Bon County Legislative Caucus, Senator Prince Kamobui, represented the Senate. Interestingly, he said, when the Liberian Senate was doing a recast of the budget, it discovered $42 million. And and they set aside $2 million for the armed forces of Liberia. Commendable. They set aside $1.8 million for the DEA. Commendable. They set aside $1.4 for the Ministry of Justice. Commendable. Because you know, as Commissioner General of LIS, I'm the Deputy Attorney General of Liberia. So the Minister of Justice is my boss. So you get $1.4 million. Commendable. The Liberia National Police Training Academy, some $2 million set aside for the National Police Training Academy. Commendable. Then when it came to the LIS, guess what the senator said? Because it was public. He said, well, for LIS, we're looking at you what you go out because there is this contact global. So we want to know what kind of contact global. And I said this to you, in about 4 months, we close to raising $2 million. LIS, in about 4 months. Senator Finley called us for revenue hearing sometime last week. On my left hand side was Double Job. And Double Job confirmed it that LIS is performing. And the if we are performing, enhance our capacity and our ability to deliver more. So we call on government. The LIS multi-tax. These are people unlike several institutions. I'm trying to think who does what LIS does. Take for example, 60% of our work security related. When the bad guys go to the port, when they go to our porous border, 100 something plus, we only make 40. The other roads, the legal will go. Legal will go because we in there, we actually know what's happening. So don't you think we need some of the drone to enhance our capacity to know what is, look at images that are infiltrating our terrain and trying to cause havoc? Yes, we need it. Can I sit down to my can I sit down to my office, my bank point, and know what's happening between Loga 2 and Ganga? Soromba, Yedemolau. I cannot. But to know it is if we have some sophistication. Come on, drone to be able to tell us what is happening there. What the criminals are doing these days now is to each other they see the Atlantic Ocean. They got a better boat. They got a better ship. So they're infiltrating. And they are one step ahead of us. Why are they one step ahead of us? Because they got a mindset, the attitude here, the ministry here. Because they got a mindset and they got the instrument to work with, they one step ahead of us. To be able to live them and curb this is to build our capacity. The LIS is asking for enhancement. The Japanese government gave us a few boats, yes. And we had to give the boat to the military to hold on to it for us because of capacity challenge. Thankfully, the military is maintaining the boats. One of them is deployed to Grand Cape Mount Compton. One of them to Grand Bassa, the other two. We asked them that come this August 24th or July 26th, August 24th, we want to display them. And they have told us, yes, we got a good relationship. So, at the airlines, yes, our strength is about 2,300 plus. With the graduate of about 180 plus, we're close to about 2,500. Are we there yet? No. Are we getting there? Yes, we're getting there. We all beat. Mr. President has said that where we are currently as an institution, how the Minister of Information and Cultural Affairs in reference to the way he's about to transform this building. And Mr. Minister, thank you. Mr. President, also knowing that we raise revenue, we provide security coverage 60%, 40% revenue, have instructed the General Services Agency to work on the modality to have us go to the capital bypass, the old Ministry of Health building. We're hoping that the General Services Agency will expedite it so that we work in an environment that will enhance our ability to deliver more. You charge all to give you 4 million, give a little over 4 million. That time we were manually doing our work. Visa upon arrival manual, resident permit manual. So when we digitize it now, you expect us to do far more, and we prepare to do far more. But please, those who are occupying the old Ministry of Health, can they give chance to the Liberian Immigration Service to come there, so that those who we are contracting to work with us, like the Contact Global, the Celtics, we are working for different buildings, makes it difficult. The NI building up on the ONS building. Contact Global had the offices where 9th Street. How do you coordinate? How do you connect synergies? We just too far apart. Help us to create an unique environment so that we'll be able to deliver on the revenue expectation. Because as an institution, yes, we are upbeat, we are spirited, we are rejuvenated, and prepared to mend our land, follow, and see. Thank you so much. We will sit back and perhaps I'm not yet alone. I'm here with my principal deputies. Those issues that you may want to question us about. If I can provide an answer, I'm here with my deputies. We can join in, happy to provide necessary clarity. Mr. Minister of Information, your principal deputy, thank you so very much for the platform. Thank you.
Anyone with the questions, please come and queue.
So you already know the routine. You take 4 questions at a time.
Please introduce yourself and the institution you report from.
Thank you so much. My name is Maurice Walati and I report for OPFM. Thank you so much, Mr. Minister. I got a few concerns. Please allow me to ask you. One of them is this morning, Minister Sando called on the radio on OPFM and said that the government is not owing civil servants. But after he left the line, one other guy called, I don't know his name, he said that he's a civil servant. So can you clarify whether the government is owing civil servant or not? Number 2.
Well, then you know you're getting rude. Why you ever want to outweigh one person?
All right, no problem.
Oh, your friend ain't lying.
All right, no problem. Let me go to the Commissioner General. No problem. Thank you, Anthony Zargo. Thank you so much for your deliberation. You named all of the areas that illegal entrance points across Liberia. What plans or what are measures are you putting into place maybe to reduce some of those places? Thank you.
I'm Francis Kedi Kopo. I do report for the Liberia TV network. My question goes to Honorable Pia. For over the past 6 months since the SNS of President Boakai, we have observed numerous of protests in the Kinjo that took away properties and life, and also another one that just happened in Makiri. What level of strategy the government is actually putting in place in ensuring that some of these activities that are occurring will not happen to an extent like what is currently happening in Kenya? To the Commissioner, I listened to you and you said that your institution is making sure in order for the, for workers, employees' salary to actually be uplifted because they were underpaid. Can you do us a due diligence, because we are reporters, we need to clarify that information. What level, when it comes to the grading of salary, did you actually meet the skill, and at what level are you taking said salary grading to in regards to qualification and competencies? Thank you.
So my name is James Mbala, and I report for Radio Africa in Makiri County. By fact, you can find we are really right now in Makiri County on Radio Africa, this program. And the question goes to the other boss. Chief, what about people in Liberia complete school of failure points from gaining by lesson passing? How long the durations of the lesson passing last in the country? And how do we go about if a laissez-passer expire? How do we twist people in Liberia? Because what people enter our country, so now you see them after 1 to 2 weeks, they get small attention in the community, they eat, they get care, they unbelievable buy. So how do we teach these people when laissez-passer stay within this country? And finally, how is the working relationship with you and LDA? Because recent time, the DA was here, he said all of the drugs entering Liberia come by the way of gaining sourness and all of the working country. How are you people working in relationship combating drugs and aliens in this country? Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Kura Thompson, and I report for the Children Independent Legal newspaper. Well, I can see that Minister Pierre is well charged this morning to respond. So I just like to seize this opportunity to ask, when is the government anticipating on releasing the financial detail to the forces that it brought in from Ghana? And next to that, to the Commissioner General, you talk much about improvement under your administration, but you did not give update about the status of our borders. Like my colleague just said, quite recently, DEA called the border with Sierra Leone as a drug hotspot. So I'm kind of concerned. Do you mind giving us brief updates about some of the things that are happening at our borders point? Are we secure? Thank you very much.
Is there any other person with the session of the reporter in the queue? So we'll just take the last question and move on with response. Okay, please come.
Good afternoon, I'm G.H. Webster Blake, and I report for Front Page Africa newspaper. Mr. Minister, Information Minister, many people love to see after the repatriation of several Liberians from Ghana, several refugees from Ghana, many people would love to see the president seeing for himself the right camp. What are some of the advice that don't tell the president not to, from the Ghanaian government, what are some advice from the Ghanaian government that caused the president not to see for himself the right camp? And to the boss, you spoke highly about